There are huge cultural differences between the UK and the US when it comes to guns and weapons and obviously that Second Amendment right. But to me, Arlene, it's just baffling that there are not more restrictions in place, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think the call to change the Constitution is going to be very, very difficult to achieve, if not impossible to achieve. But that doesn't stop various states being able to deal with background checks, for example, on people that are buying guns. We heard Kamala Harris talking about banning certain types of guns, assault rifles and what have you. I mean, why does anybody in their private life need an assault rifle? I just can't understand that. What I found quite depressing, actually, Deanna, when I was looking at this, apparently over this past 2 years, 7.5 million guns have been sold in America. And half of those that were sold were bought by females because they feel now that they need to carry a gun in their handbag in case they're attacked. Now, what does that say about American society today when women of our ages are carrying guns in their handbag? I find that incredible.
Yeah, I agree. Paul, what are your reflections?
I mean, I loathe guns. I've never owned one. I would never want to own one. Every instinct inside me says, yes, of course, there should be a ban. I just wonder if that's taking too narrow a view of what some of the underlying problems really are in America. I mean, the truth is there are other countries who have relatively high rates of gun ownership, not necessarily as high as America, but relatively high, and have nothing like the culture of guns and mass shootings as we see in America. And I think we need a real close examination of why that is. Is it connected with mental health issues? Is it connected with drugs, for example? I think there's probably evidence suggesting that those things are very much a factor. So I don't know that a blanket ban would necessarily be the right thing, although I completely understand the calls for it. Because I think, not least, one of the difficulties would be, how do you actually enforce it? There are 400 million guns in America. I mean, the idea that people are just going to, a country that has such a gun culture, people are just going to give over their guns and say, there you go, take it away, I think is completely implausible, to be honest. So it's an extremely difficult and complex debate, and there are no easy answers to it, I'm sure.
I want to go back to the point in the intro there that Donald Trump made about arming teachers so that teachers are trained to deal with this if ever occurs in their classroom. But my interpretation is that what we're actually seeing are a lot of teachers wanting to leave the profession because they're so worried, so scared, so concerned, but also so concerned about the mental impact of these kind of gun drills and what they're having on the youngsters. I was reading one account, which was, I think it was about a 7 or 8 year old, and they did a gun drill and someone banged on the door and asked to be let in, like, please help, let me in. They asked the little kids whether they should let them in, and the little kid said yes. The door opens and the principal, wearing a mask, put their fingers to their head like that and said, bang, you're dead, you don't let people in. And you just think, kids at that age, the fact that that is normalised, the fact that gun drills take place in schools right around the USA just says to me that something must be done. Paul, I think you're right on that point about wider cultural issues, but well, the problem is that the gun lobby is so powerful, isn't it?
It is so powerful. I mean, I think on your point, which you put very powerfully, I think if your answer is we need to arm teachers in the classroom, then you're probably asking yourself the wrong question, to be perfectly honest, because I don't think that is the answer to any problem. You've got to look much more deeply and say, look, how do you get to a situation where you're not even contemplating the idea of arming teachers in a classroom? And you thought that my kids would go into a classroom and the teacher would have some sort of weapon there because they felt it was necessary to protect them because there is such a gun culture. Yeah, I mean, it's inconceivable in most other countries, but as I say, I just don't think I don't think it's as easy as saying ban everything, everybody hands their weapons over, and America suddenly becomes a land of milk and honey. That is completely fanciful, I think.
Yeah, I think